through the complete show a little bit ahead of time, interact with you guys over on Facebook, and then after we interact for a little bit, I'll record episode 302 live, let you watch that, and then of course we'll do some editing behind the scenes after the fact, and then put 302 out in the app for everyone to enjoy. But welcome. So we're live on Facebook at the moment. We're live also over on YouTube. Due to some, I'm testing still, but due to some limitations, can't see your comments over on YouTube until after the show. So if you're watching live on YouTube, welcome. I'll get in after and just see how you're doing, but the interaction is going to happen here on Facebook, so welcome to everyone. So I see a lot of people joining us in. Let's see, I'm going to go all the way back to the beginning. Lisa, 20 seconds ago, it said no pre-show. I don't know. Well, here we are. And then Anna's here. Good to see you. Nancy is here. Let's see who else I see. Anna, good afternoon to you. Valerie, Maria, Susan, Kathy, Carol, D. Good afternoon to all of you. It's 4 o'clock, almost 5 minutes to 4 here on the East Coast. Lana, good to see you. Shauna, hello. Jean, Jennifer says, active and commenting soon. I like it. Get him out the door. Get him out of there. Wish him the best, right? Tell him to be safe. That's the important thing. Absolutely. Darwin says hello. Trisha is here from California. Diane out of Naperville. And Paulette out of North Carolina. And I see Amy as well. So good to see all of you guys here. Jan and Kathy and let's see, Glenda from Aubrey, Texas. So, man, it's so fun to hang out with you guys. So game plan, here we go. We're going to record episode 302. Reconnecting with the wingman is the topic there. You guys, like I said, we'll hang out here for just a few more minutes. Then we'll transition over to actual recording of the show. You're going to love this one. Lisa and Heather did an amazing job getting this show ready as well. I keep saying this, and I hate doing this to you, but the last email, again, is a good one. So you're going to have to stick around for the entire thing. Melissa's here from Kentucky. Ann is from Downers Grove. Man, it's good to see all of you joining us here live on Wednesday afternoon. So, Janine is running the comment board. So if you got something going on there, she will interact with you as Fat Dag. I gave her access to the controls again. So she does such an amazing job that it makes sense to just let her be a part of it in that sense, up until the point where we can get back into the studio, which is what we're begging for. Yeah, they always do. They always do an amazing job, of course. And, I tell you, and you guys know or don't know this, but it wouldn't happen without them. It happened for a long time without them, but I was getting to the point where I just couldn't do it all. And so when they stepped up and said, we want to help, I was like, yeah, let's figure out a way to help. So we owe a huge pat on the back or clap or hug or whatever we can do. We owe that to them for getting the show ready. So thank you. So it's a typo. It says 302, Jen. So I did that twice, and so this is 302. I'll edit it after. But in the screen it says 302. So right over here, right there, it says 302. So that part is right. It's just wrong in the Facebook. So very fun. So all right. So let's see what else is going on chat room wise. So yeah, a lot of boarding up. I see that, Angie's from Indianapolis as well. So yeah, we had some interesting times here in Indy as well. So we'll get through it. That's really, that's kind of where we're at, right? We're gonna figure this out. So Nancy comes in down 2 pounds this week, refocused again. Congratulations, amazing job and amazing focus and amazing work. That's what it's all about. So very fun. So yeah, so game plan. I'm going to record episode 302. That's what we're working on. Missy's here. Man, it's so fun. Like I said, it's so fun to hang out with you. I miss you guys. Really, I do. And, a week, it seems like, there's two things. One, it comes up really fast, but then also it feels like there's too long in between, right? Depending on my mood, sometimes I want to just go do another episode right now. But it just makes it difficult to keep doing them, and especially when I'm still running all the technical controls of things that I don't want to run technical controls for. I don't know. We'll figure it out someday. So let me adjust two things here on this side, and then we will be ready to go. I want to adjust the light color. I don't really like the light, so let's see if that changes everything. There we go. Let's do that for one. And then let's go into here. Just adjusting some of the settings. You know how it is. Just got always got to make some changes. So, all right. So episode 302. Let me get some headphones ready. Let me get some audio checks done. My hair keeps getting in the way. Big news. I think I told you guys this last week. Big news. Haircut coming. Yep. June 13th, we're scheduled to get a haircut. Should I live stream that? You guys want to? No, I don't think I do. I don't think we do. Yeah, Carol says, I do a good job with the control. I haven't disconnected you. So, again, June 13th. Again, no kidding, true story. At 3:45-ish, I'm getting ready to go live. Microphone doesn't work. No power to the audio board. I reset the buttons, unplugged everything, nothing. And so I'm like, okay, I have no microphone. So this is not going to work, right? Pretty much this show relies on me having a microphone. So didn't have a microphone. So I finally, I went all the way back to the beginning and it's okay. I unplugged one of the cables and it was loose. So I plugged that back in. Okay, finally the microphone started working again. Whew. Then I turn on the computer and get that ready. And true story, no camera. I'm like, well, first there's no microphone, which makes it even more difficult. Well, now there's no camera, which makes it even sillier. So I had to unplug and reset and reboot everything and then plug the camera back in. And then that finally worked. So I tell you, those are the things I don't miss. I just want to turn the stuff on and make it work. I don't want to do much more than that. So, Ann says on WW said, if we look at everything through the lens of resiliency, our strength shine through. A lot of S's in there, but that's true, right? If we're very resilient, we find the strengths that pop up. So, all right, let's go ahead and record episode 302. Santa Barbara, Venetia checks in. Pouring here in Florida, says Brenda. Ooh, yeah, not here. We got no rain, which is, I think we're getting it tonight though, right? Isn't that what we're getting tonight? Yeah, Janine shakes her head and says we're getting rain tonight. So, all right. Do you have your water ready? It's time to take a sip of water. Karen's here. Dun, 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 dun. Her annual haircut on Saturday. I don't know. Honestly, I don't think you're going to notice much different when I come back on June 13th. I think I'm going to go get it cut, and I'm going to tell him I don't want it any shorter, which makes it difficult because every time you cut it does get shorter. I just want him to thin it and clean it and shape it, whatever that means, right? I'm now, and then color it. We're getting it colored too, for sure, because the job I'm doing of coloring it is just not working anymore, so I'm going to allow him to color it. And Janine said I should go with a salt and pepper color look, but I don't know. June 13th, we'll figure that out. So let's do this. Grab your water. Let's go ahead and do a toast. Audio levels are looking good over here, so I'm happy with that. But here we go. Listen to this. It should pop very loudly. It's nice and cold. Listen quietly. Shh, 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 shh. Ready? Ready? Tell me that's not the coolest sound in the world. I need that to be my ringtone, right? So cheers to all of you. Thanks for being here. Ooh. Wowzers. That was cold. About 2:30 when I was working on the show, Janine said, "Hey, do you want me to take some water?" I said, "No, it won't be cold enough." And the colder it is, so here's the balance. The colder it is, the better the pop is. But the colder it is, the brain freeze happens. And well, hello, Jacob. We're now officially recording, so we're checking in with Jacob. So, Jacob, good to see you, my man. Thanks for being here. Thanks for editing out all this audio, cleaning it up, and taking care of the show. So, are you guys ready? Like I said, episode 302. The last email on the show is really good. The first two were pretty good as well. So, you're getting a pretty good bang for your buck here. But thanks for being here. Thanks for tuning in live. Love it that you're here. Amidst all of this craziness in the world as we go through. So let's do this here, shall we? All right, here we go. Looking for my pen. Kathy says she's ready. Debbie says brain freeze. Lee says Inspector Gadget. Here we go. I am your host, Fat Dag. You're listening to Wise Advice. My weight loss journey failed when I focused on how. It wasn't until I switched my focus to why that I truly transformed myself. Join the show on the web at fatdag.com and follow along on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, all at Wise Advice. Send in your comments, your questions, your celebrations. I'll include them as part of the show. But before we dive in, remember, when you're out of points, stop eating points. Hey, I'm honored to be your wingman as we walk through this journey together because I believe in you. Well, hello there. Welcome to episode 302 of Wise Advice. And seems like just 2 episodes ago we were hitting 300, so we're moving up the charts. Thanks to all of you for being here live on Facebook. We're now live on YouTube as well. I kind of figured that out. So if you're you're in the YouTube platform, certainly you can watch the video live there. You can watch the replay there. What I've been doing is putting a link inside the Wise Advice app directly to watch the YouTube video as well. So if you're in the Wise Advice app, just simply scroll into the scroll notes. You can see the link to go watch it on YouTube if you want to watch it. Also inside the Wise Advice app, I put a link to the complete transcript. You now can read along as I go if you want to do that as well. So, of course, if you're watching live, you don't have that option, but in the replay, you certainly do. So thank you guys for being here. Thanks for being a part of this journey. And just thanks for being awesome. Truly, truly, truly. I don't want to delay too much. I want to get right into the heart of this email or into the show because, you know, as I say often, you guys are what makes the show. And so the fact that you've written in and you share your journey with us is a true testament to the community aspect that we built here and the comfort that you found in watching and listening and hearing other people on their journey as well. So it's awesome that we found this community together and we've all built it together, which is really kind of amazing. So I do want to give a shout out to you for being here and for doing that. And again, for those of you catching us live on Facebook at the moment, I see Marty just checked in, Lauren's here, Veronica, Diane, all of you guys. It's just fun to see you and interact with you during the show a little bit. And Janine does a great job of running that control as well. So very, very, very cool. But the first email from this show comes in out of Vicksburg, Mississippi. It comes from Renee. She says, so I never really thought about my story before listening to your podcast. I just thought, well, I've struggled with weight most of my life, but upon further reflection, it is more about perception. I was an average size as a child and all through high school. When I was pregnant with my now 15-year-old son, his father up and left me. I did diet to lose the weight that I put on during pregnancy because, let's face it, his dad left me pregnant. Who isn't going to eat their feelings? I figured out exactly what I could eat, and I ate even if it was a nacho basket and a sweet tea from McAllister's. I lost what I gained, and I was average size again when I met my now ex-husband who married me and adopted my son. Things were great for about 3 years or so, I guess, and then he cheated on me. I forgave him, and we worked things out. I got pregnant with our second son, and I packed on the pounds again because I just wasn't happy. My ex-husband constantly verbally abused me. Every time we went out to eat and I chose to eat everything on my plate, he would say, "You're disgusting," or "I can't believe you're going to eat all of that," or "I can't believe you ate all that," etc. After my second son was born, I joined WW as an attempt to lose all the weight and save our marriage and make him happy. I was successful. I lost 100 pounds from October 2009 to December 2010. Once I made Lifetime, I decided to continue to track and eat healthy, but on my next reset day, which was Sunday, we would go out after church for lunch. I would splurge and order what I wanted and eat the chips, the salsa, and the cheese dip. Once again, the comments came flooding in. "You may be skinny, but when you finish a whole plate of food, you disgust me. How do you eat so much? You're going to get fat again." Of course, all these comments were made in front of our 2 children. All the comments took a toll on me. They made me believe I was disgusting whether I was a size 8 or a size 28. Needless to say, we divorced several years later. I was a single mom taking care of my 2 boys, working full time and trying to survive. I gained all of my weight back and then some. About 4 years later, I met the love of my life. Truly my best friend. The best stepdad ever. He's been through a lot, and I think that's why we click so well. We know how to support each other. We got married, and we do what happy people do, but we eat. We often go out to eat. So here we are in this journey trying to lose the weight and make ourselves healthier. So we are here longer. We have 2 boys who are 15 and 11. We want to enjoy the best part of their lives and their activities together and not be on the sidelines. Thanks for making me think about my story. Thanks for making me realize that I didn't just let myself go, that I've been through a lot, and some of it was out of my control. But now I have the control. I can track. I can choose what I eat. I can choose if I exercise or not. Thanks for being a huge inspiration, Renee. Renee, I am incredibly proud of you as you take the time to kind of articulate and to write down this part of your journey. And I think that's kind of what makes this podcast fun, is that a lot of us haven't really dug into the mental aspect as to what's driving us, right? And you've done that, and this opportunity to kind of share it with the Wingman community here is a little bit therapeutic. I've said that often on the podcast, is that, part of the reason I want you to write in is, one, because I want to share it and I want other people to hear it, but the other part of it is just you writing it down, whether you send it or not. Please do. Whether you send it or not, opens up your eyes and your ears and your mind and starts letting those emotions go. And so that you can kind of rebuild and move on and pick up where you are from that piece. So I thank you for doing that, for one, for taking the time to write it in, but more importantly, for your courage and your strength to share it with the rest of us. So, and so I wrote some notes before the show, and part of me, I wanted to write, as your first husband left you while you were pregnant, in the notes I wrote in the comments, I want to say I'm so sorry for that. And then as it happened again, I wanted her to get it. And then when I kind of, now that I'm thinking through it, what I want to say is, I'm proud of you, and those were circumstances that had nothing to do with you. You were completely out of your control. So no, I do not wish that upon anybody. And so in that regard, yeah, I'm absolutely sorry that it happened to you. But I think what I really want you to know is that how strong you are and how much of a survivor you are and how awesome your 2 kids are now going to be to watch their mom win and be successful, and now happily married to an amazing man, that together you're showing them what adversity looks like, what struggle looks like, but really what you're showing them is what resiliency looks like. You're showing them what survival looks like. That's a skill they're going to need for the rest of their life, and you now have the ability to let them walk with you throughout this entire process and just see all of that, which are lifelong lessons that they're going to really enjoy for the rest of their lives. I go through the 5 questions as we start working on trying to figure out our why. And one of the questions is, what's the hardest thing you've ever had to do? And I think Renee, you've kind of written that out here, right? What you've done twice is not easy, but you've successfully survived. And so when you think about what the hardest thing you've ever had to do, and hopefully for you and your sake, hopefully this is it, right? But as you think about these scenarios in your life, knowing that you've now found an amazing partner on the other side, that's what this kind of whole journey is. And so as we think about all the things that we've done that prove to us that we're super strong, you now have proven that even on your hardest day, there is an opportunity in the future. We just got to get to it and get there. And that's what you've done. And your resiliency and your patience and your strength has rewarded you with an amazing man to walk this journey with. And so now we come to the portion of the part where you're saying, okay, well, we like going out to eat. That's what we have in common, and that's where we celebrate. And so now we ask the question of, okay, I get it, completely get it. Is that the lifestyle we want for the rest of our life? Is there an opportunity to be better? Is there an opportunity to make some changes? Can we do it together? And so knowing that you've had a very successful weight loss journey, you now know two things. You know, one, you're capable of that. You know you're capable of some very difficult things as well. Now we piece the two together and say, okay, we have a 15-year-old, we have an 11-year-old. The best part of their lives is coming up. The best part of your lives as a parent, right, is coming up, and it's now, and they're in all the activities, and so what an amazing gift you can now give them to show them that to add on and tack on the gift of health to that. So as your partner and your husband now, as your partner, you guys together, as you're partnered together, I should say, as you go through this journey and say, okay, is this important to us? Yes, it is. Okay, what small changes can we make along the way? And I think you're starting to uncover that. And I'm proud of you for taking the courage, like I said, to write it in. You've done an amazing job. You can do anything you want to do. You got to make it the goal. You got to make it the priority. You have to find a path and a plan that walks you through those steps. But it starts with you writing down your story, thinking about your story, figuring out how that impacts you and how that shaped you and how that's molded you and how that's given you the strength and the courage to be right where you are today. Understanding that allows you to now build a plan from this point forward. You have everything you need to go after it and go do it, and I'm incredibly proud of you. Congratulations on complete success. Success in your life, because that's really what truly matters. And all the things that you may have heard before, we know they're not true, right? And so I'm happy for you in one regard that you're no longer living with that with those things in your life, right? Because we don't need that. You certainly don't need it. We don't deserve it. It's uncalled for. It's not. It was nothing you did. That was certainly absolutely 100% not you, and you're better now as a result. So again, Renee, thanks for writing in. Susan writes in for email number 2 of the show. She says, hi, Mike. I've been a WW member since my son was born in 1995. Yes, I've been a member for many years, and I've only taken one 15-week break while I was trying out a small group personal training session. There, the focus was on nutrition was also covered, so I thought it would be a good idea to give that 100% of my effort. I did that with no regrets and came back to WW 15 pounds lighter. That was almost 10 years ago now, and even though I still work out with a trainer and still do various nutrition-related challenges outside of the WW community, I feel I'm the loudest cheerleader for this program and everything that it stands for in my life. I've always kidded with others that I'm a lifetime member without the benefit, as I never really reached my WW weight goal in all the years that I've been attending as a member. I've realized most recently, getting reconnected with you and your podcast and the Connect presence, that I do have the benefits from being a member all these years. I know a lot of information about a lot of things, and I have some of my closest friends with me from my WW connections. There are 6 of us right now that have our own private challenge group on Facebook where we challenge one another with reaching our goals, changing our habits, or sometimes it's just a comfortable place where we can vent about anything that is affecting us negatively in any aspect of our lives. That's a big benefit. Another benefit is being able to connect with inspirational people like yourself through virtual workshops that have sprung up during this unprecedented time of the COVID pandemic. That being said, I want to say that I absolutely adore my WW coach, Cheryl. She's just amazing, but I also find so much inspiration and joy through your journey. I love the idea of setting goals that you can reach so that you can always feel empowered and never feel like a failure. We focus so much on the negativity in our lives. It's time for that to stop. Thank you so much for allowing me to share a bit about myself, but mainly for being there online through Connect in the WW meeting space. It's important for me to tell you that you do make a difference. You're making a difference in my life, and I'm thrilled to have reconnected virtually with your journey, Susan. Susan, 1995, congratulations on commitment, right? That's what this is all about for you. You set a goal back in 1995 that you were going to take care of yourself, and you've done it. And so when you say you don't necessarily get the benefit of being a lifetime member, I'm going to guess that you're referring to the benefit of just simply not having to pay. But as you started to allude to, there are so many more benefits that truly the price isn't really the factor. It's not the biggest benefit. It's the most tangible, I would say, right? It's the one that we feel every month when we pay. But the reality is just as you've outlined, the benefits of this community are just, the list just goes on forever. And I really would love, as I go on a tangent here, I would really love the rest of you, send in an email as to what the biggest benefit you're getting out of being a WW member is. I want to share that in an upcoming episode. But we're going to talk about them here. And so you're going to meet people in this journey who are doing things that at one point you thought were impossible. You're going to meet some of the most amazing people you're ever going to find exist in this community. And the reason that is that we know what it's like, right? We have so much in common, and you've heard it from episode after episode after episode, is that we have so much more in common than we ever think about. But generally, these are conversations we're not having. You don't start your first job and say, "Hey, hi, welcome. My name is Susan," or in the case of Renee, "Hi, my name is Renee. Here's my life story." We don't start those conversations. So until we truly get to know somebody, we don't really dig in deep. We just take everyone at face value, and we don't know enough about them. But the benefit of this community, though, is that we do get to share some pretty personal things, and that personal touch that we would say, or that authenticity, is what now connects us, because we've taken away the mask, right, figuratively, and we've said, here's who I am, right? You can love me or not, but this is me. This is the real me. This isn't me trying to get a promotion. This isn't me trying to be the best person in the office and showing up early. This is real and raw me. And the emails that you guys write in are exactly that. Right? And sometimes you send it in anonymously, which is completely fine because you still got to get it out, but a lot of times you don't. And so you're saying, hey, here's who I am. If you can identify with that, I love you. And walk with me and we'll walk together. If you can't identify with it, then you're free to go find someone else you identify with. That's really how it works. But then when we start building these connections with people we truly can identify with, we can have some pretty hard conversations, and we can say things that maybe no one else understands, and we start to bond on a completely different level. And you found that in your small Facebook group as well, and you found that you needed an additional level of support, and you've done that. Of course, we have the Wise Wingman Facebook group, which acts similarly, but it's like 5,500 people, so it's not exactly 6. Members who write into the show get access into a Slack community, which is even smaller than the Facebook group. The only way to get into there is you get an email from the producer to invite you back in, and that's a much smaller community. And so we have these little pockets of people all around to say, hey, I'm connecting with you because we have a similar journey, or we're doing some similar things. And so as we go through this entire process, we start to recognize there's a long list of benefits. Let's not even mention the health benefits, the mental health, the physical health, right? The parts where we just start feeling good about ourselves, and we enjoy our coaches, and we enjoy the teamwork, and we enjoy the competitive spirit of this entire thing. Right? There's so much of that going on, and so I want to take one moment. Something you said that I love to share, and I'm going to go on a little rant again. It's today's rant day, I guess. And the paragraph you wrote, you say, I love the idea of setting goals that you know you can reach so that you can always feel empowered and never feel like a failure. That's the whole premise behind what I'm working on, is what I call the MET goals, the moving goal, the eating goal, the thinking goal. And what we do is we go to the point where I want you to set goals, and I want you to have a goal, but what happens often when we set goals, we set really lofty goals because we know we're amazing people. We know we're capable of incredible things. We've proven it time and time again in this community. But I say, I want you to set goals that are easy, right? I want you to set attendance goals, not performance goals. If you can walk 10,000 steps a day, that's great. Can you do it for 30 days in a row? Different conversation. You may be able to, but the reality is sometimes not so much without some deliberate focus and maybe changing our lifestyle a little bit. So when we get into this MET goal concept, is I want you to set your goals so ridiculously easy that you can complete them for 30 days in a row. But it's not so easy that you're doing them accidentally. So think about the analogy as if you wanted to start brushing your teeth at lunch. right? Now, most of us brush our teeth every single day. So the concept of brushing our teeth is easy. It takes all of 3 minutes or 5 minutes, whatever time you put on it. But the point of doing it is easy. But if I say I want you to do it after every lunch meal, some days that's going to require you to think through it ahead of time. You're going to have to wake up at 8 a.m. or whatever time you get up and take a toothbrush with you in order to hit that goal of doing it at your lunch meal. So not that it's difficult, but you have to think through it. You have to plan a little bit. And so that's what I'm working on with these goals is they're easy enough to do, but you can't do them accidentally. If you forget your toothbrush and you're at work, you can't just go do it. You have to have prepared. So that's when we talk about these MET goals. But when you think about the reason for doing them is exactly what you outlined. I want you to feel what success feels like. My favorite analogy is when you talk about take a toddler, a 2-year-old child or a 3-year-old child, and one of the things we do as parents, we buy them a basketball hoop, right? We don't send them to the front yard to the regular standard basketball hoop. We don't. We buy them their own special one. It's designed just for them. It's just a little bit taller than they are. And why do we do that? It's because we know that they're probably not capable of a 2-year-old, probably not capable of making a basket on a standard basketball rim. So we buy them the smaller one. Then what we do is we hold them, right? We pick them up and we hold them up as close to the basket as we can. We even go so far as we put the ball in their hand, we hold them, we angle them so that all they have to do is drop the ball and it makes a basket. It's that simple for them. Now, we've aided them in that process because what we want to teach them is making baskets is fun, right? We teach them that. And so as soon as they drop the ball, it goes through the hoop, the whole room jumps up and down, yay, right? And we clap and we celebrate. Now what happens is the toddler instantly puts a smile on their face and often they'll say, let's do it again, right? Let's do it again. And so we keep doing it and we keep doing it and eventually we start raising the basket. Eventually we start moving the basket away. And then when they're older, they're playing basketball on a full-size basket. But we've taught them early on that making a basket is fun. And so they want to continue to do that. If we were to back up to when they're 2 years old and put the ball in their hand and ask them to do it, and we smacked it out of their hand, and they never ever got the ball in the basket, certainly every one of us is capable of playing basketball against a 2-year-old and winning, right? There's no question that we could all beat them if it was truly a game, but we don't do that because we don't want them to get discouraged on the journey and quit. Right? If every single time they tried to make a basket, if you smacked the ball right back in their face, that kid would hate basketball for the rest of their life. It's the same thing when we're working on our goals. We want to set them easy enough that we do them because then we start to love the journey and we fall in love with it. And then once we fall in love with the idea of doing it, we move the basket up. We step back and then we start making free throws and we just start getting better because we love the journey. We love the game, and that's what this whole thing is about. And that's the greatest benefit of us being together, talking through all this, so that we can say, okay, what are your goals? What are my goals? Let's keep each other making baskets so that we feel really good about everything that we're doing. So, Susan, thanks for your email. Again, I always allow it when you allow me to make a little rant. It's always fun, but thank you for doing that. And I really appreciate your last sentence. And it says you're important to tell you that you do make a difference. And I'll turn it around and I'll say that you guys make a difference. This community together, this isn't about me. This isn't about you. This is about us together, recognizing that each of us have goals in life and that if we work together to accomplish them, we can do whatever it takes. So you are just as much making a difference by sending in an email and contributing to the show as I am reading and regurgitating your words. So Susan, thanks for your note for sure. Out of Massachusetts, April writes in and says, well, hello, Mike. I hope this letter finds you well and safe. Today I'm writing to you not to talk about weight loss, but instead to tell you that I haven't given up on my weight loss journey. Here's just a little background. I lost 250 pounds back when my journey started in 2005. I started at 487 pounds. It didn't start as a weight loss journey, though. It started as a fight to save my leg from the knee down due to a really bad cellulitis infection from a spider bite and out of control diabetes. I tried my best to really get the diabetes under control, but I just couldn't. The specialist who was treating me for months finally said, lose the diabetes and get it under control or lose your leg. At that point, I would have done anything not to lose my leg. My children were so young. I followed his advice and I had gastric bypass done. As he promised, I lost the diabetes immediately. The leg healed within 2 weeks of having it, an amazing blessing. Then I went on to losing 250 pounds in about 18 months. I thought of it as a double blessing. I admit I really couldn't eat much and I was sick more often than not with eating, and to this day I still have some issues. I just eat until I'm full, but it's not always good food choices and maybe way too much snacking. I guess I would rather snack than eat a meal. I pretty much have maintained that loss of 250 pounds, but I'm still categorized as obese. Losing weight was not what I cared about at the time of my surgery 15 years ago. You would have thought it would have been, but sadly it wasn't. It was strictly keeping my leg. The weight loss was a big bonus. In 2008, I moved to Georgia. I wanted a new beginning after my divorce that ended a 15-year marriage. It wasn't long after I got there, I was diagnosed with MS, multiple sclerosis. Let's fast forward to 4 years ago. I started having lots of issues with falling. It started to get really bad in 2017, and my thought was, well, if I lose some weight, it won't hurt so much when I hit the ground. That, believe it or not, became my why. I tried to get it together and focus, but life got the best of me. I had to retire by mid-year of 2018 at 54 years old and leave behind my 25 years in the floral industry. The last really bad flare-up with MS was still working. While I was still working, it ended my career. My whole world was flowers. It felt like my world was crashing down beside me and I couldn't stop it. I had to have major surgery at the end of that year to help control my spasticity with MS. After recovering from surgery, I decided to move back home to Massachusetts in March of 2019, saying my goodbyes to Georgia. Then, my brother got really sick and passed away from cancer last August, leaving me just about broken with life. He was one of the strongest people I knew. If all that wasn't enough, I headed back to surgery again this past January of 2020 to fix a failure of my first surgery a year ago, and now this pandemic. Somehow, through the grace of God, I've maintained that original loss. Sadly, though, I've gone no further in my journey. Up and down, still weighing in at 245 pounds or so on a good week. In order to stay mobile and out of a wheelchair, my weight really has to change to help with my MS. I was in a wheelchair for half of January and most of February. I am not going back to that. I have not kept up or really listened to a full Fat Dag podcast since my life started spiraling out of control. I would sometimes click on Facebook when your podcast started. I would say hi and I would quietly leave after 5 or 10 minutes. But soon, that too stopped. I would post a "I'm getting it together" type post in the Wise Wingman group, and I just couldn't follow through for very long. My heart wasn't in it. I had too many distractions going on. I could call them excuses, but it was more like just real stuff. Multitasking in my life just wasn't happening. I really wanted to be back on my journey, but my life was overflowing with so much chaos in the last 4 years. I just couldn't stay true to myself to lose any weight. Through all of it, I was still trying to stay positive with everything else going on, so depression would not suck me in. My favorite saying became, "Suck it up, Buttercup." In order to get back on track, I knew I had to really let go of all of the past negativity. Think super positive now. So in order to really let it go, the last few months, I knew I needed to fill my heart with blessings that came out of the last few years of chaos. I meditated, I read, I soul searched within myself, and I kept my faith up. After really taking a good look at everything, I finally found what I was looking for. 2017, 2018, I actually got to work one more year longer by using a walker on wheels. The red Cadillac, I like to call it. I had to put my pride aside, and I used it at work too. I was a floral manager. I had already given up my flower shop because of my MS 3 years earlier. I wasn't going to stop working without a fight. That last year of working made me stronger and humble in so many ways. I found my pride again. My first of many blessings. 2018, after another bad MS flare-up, I had to come to grips that I could no longer continue to work, and my team of doctors said it was in my health's best interest to retire. I applied for disability. I was approved for Social Security within 2 weeks of applying, something almost unheard of. That was another blessing. Moving back to Massachusetts now let me spend more time with my son who is living here. Truly a blessing. I got to spend quality time with my brother before he passed away by moving back home. A blessing that I'm so very grateful for. The surgery in January was hard. It was a hard one to find something good in. The baclofen pump that was put in and attached to my spine in November of 2018 was supposed to last about 7 years, and it took so much out of me to recover from. Now I had to do it all over again. But I found the good in it. I had to look at my gratitude list for this. I'm super thankful and grateful for friends and family for everything they did for me while I recovered and was at my worst. They refused to let me find comfort in self-pity parties. The love, the support that continued to be unbelievable. I will forever be grateful. What a major blessing. I even found good in this pandemic. Family and friends are my world, and my world right now consists of still being housebound, but something I've been since January, I still haven't even been able to drive again. Yet I found a way to connect. I've still not fully recovered to what my norm was before the baclofen pump failure. The physical therapy has been put on hold because of COVID-19. It really could have been so much worse, but the difference is I have family and friends that have been here for me, making it easier to deal with all of it. I'm talking grocery shopping, to the meal planning, to delivering meals, doing laundry at the laundromat, some light housework, conversations through our masks with, of course, social distancing and some FaceTiming, while making sure I get my exercise in to help me become stronger and to help keep me walking. I have a lot to be grateful for. Blessings and more blessings. So now I decided to take this time to do some soul searching and work on my why. Refresh my path to my journey and really figure it all out. Dust myself off and stand tall. I know I need support on this journey more than ever. I am gathering it from my friends and my family. I also knew where I could go and gather extra support and inspiration from. I headed right back to find it with you, Fat Dag, and the Wise Wingman group. One of the first posts I read was the one where you're with your weigh-in. I scrolled back to the day before, and this time it gave you a loss. I looked at it, and I ran with it, even shouting out something like, "Good for you," or "Wahoo." You would have thought it was my own weigh-in. It really gave me the inspiration I was looking for in that moment. I truly feel I can do this once and for all now. Thank you for still being here when I finally made my way back. I know now by catching up a little, it's been a tough year for you too, but you're still here giving us that support. That speaks mountains of dedication, commitment, and wholeheartedness. Thank you. I hope someday I can pay it forward in ways that you have given us. Looking forward to climbing my mountain on this journey with everyone's support. Stay safe, and thank you again for all you do, April. And then April adds a PS at the end and says, by the way, I started fully tracking the same day I saw your post, and it truly feels great. I'm focused again. I'm committed to me and my new why. I'm doing this. I am going to be the prize. I may or may not be able to retire my red Cadillac, but I'm definitely looking forward to keeping out of that wheelchair. My newest saying is, get in the back seat, MS. I'm doing the driving today. April, thank you for your incredible story. And like I always love to say is that the courage it takes to kind of do the soul searching and do the homework to get to the point where you've drafted an email such as that. really is a testament to who you are as a person, and to truly what's going on in your world, and the fact that you've shared this with us and allowed us the chance to call you a rock star, and to say way to go, and to be a superhero. That's what I'm reading right now in the Facebook community of people who are reaching out to you live as I have this conversation. And I understand where you're coming from, right? It would be so much easier to just throw in the towel and say, suck it up, buttercup, or just quit, right? Those two options, but they don't really work in that way. There's so much more complexity built into this thing. And what you've been able to do, when you said at the end of your email that you want to hopefully be the prize, and hope you can pay it forward, as you said, I'm pretty sure you just did. So many times we believe, and we've been led to believe, wrongly, I'm going to add, we've been misled down this journey of the only way to get to goal is when the scale confirms it. And nothing could be further from the truth. You can decide, you can be happy and count your blessings at any point. If every single one of us looks hard enough, there's a tremendous list of things to be grateful for. And you've counted your blessings and you started writing them out. And I'm not going to say this is accidental. I think once you started doing that, you started realizing that there's an awful lot that you have to be thankful for. And so that's what's bringing you back into the journey. So when we get into this mindset of we're trying to look at our life and trying to figure out what's going on, probably the best thing we can do is follow your lead and follow your advice and say, what is it that I'm grateful for, right? And there's a lot of us that as we go through your story, we certainly, it would be difficult for us to pull things out of there that you're grateful for, but you've done it. And so the amazing strength that you've done to go, let me look beyond the here and now, and let me really count the blessings that I'm really been given. And you've proven to us, and you've demonstrated to us that you can do it. It's my favorite part of this podcast is that somebody listening right now is going through some similar things to you, and they're not able to see or count their blessings. And they're listening right now and going, holy cow, if April can do it, if April can find her blessing, then you know what, I can find one. And that slowly builds them up and starts bringing the confidence around. So when you say you can't wait to pay it forward, I'm telling you right now, you just did. And I promise you, there are hundreds of people, if not thousands of people right now listening, saying, wow, that's amazing. All right, maybe, just maybe, I can take one step forward. Right? And that's what you've given to this community. And so I'm tremendously grateful that you've taken the time to write it in. And so I think it's important for us to shed the negativity. And I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but we can't dwell on it. We have to recognize it, and then recognize that thought and say, okay, what's the positive side of this? There's two sides to every coin, right? And so if there's a negative situation coming up, what is the blessing that's buried on the other side? If we dig for that, the more we dig for them, the more we start looking. And the more we start looking, we start seeking them out, and then they start rolling in one after another, and we really start recognizing all the tremendous amount of things that we truly have to be thankful for. So you've done it. Now, I want to address the opening of your email too, though, because from time to time people ask me about bariatric surgery and weight loss surgery, and it's not a place I have any experience in. But what I know is that it completely changed your life and it completely saved your life. And so, to anyone out there listening, if you're contemplating it, I'm not an expert. Talk with your doctor. Absolutely, get in and have that conversation. But if there's an opportunity to completely save your life, wouldn't you try it? Right? Now, you still got to learn to eat right. There's a lot of things that I got to go on, and I'm not going to go any further in this conversation because I'm not qualified to talk about it. But what I want you to know is by April telling us her story, you've saved someone's life right now. Someone who was on the fence, who maybe wouldn't even considered it, but needed it. Absolutely, no question, needed it now. has now gotten the courage to have the conversation and potentially completely save their life. So you have done that, and so you're a leader. You're a champion. You're a rock star. You're so many amazing things that I'm honored to know you. And what I want you to know is I want you to hop into the Facebook group more. I want you to be a part of this group. I want you to hang out for more than the 10 minutes. Because when you hang out with this group, what you recognize and realize is that this group is unlike any other. I have some pretty crazy rules for the Wise Wingman Facebook group. You know, if you get on some Facebook groups, I know that I'm a little weird, and I'm okay with that. I do a very good job of saying, hey, listen, tell me about your journey. Tell me how we can help you. Leave the rest of it out of here, right? I don't care about the weather in Hawaii. It's not relevant to the journey, right? I don't care about the latest gizmo gadget that's going to help. No, I want to know you. I want to know you as a person. I don't want to know you as a Facebook meme. I don't want to know you as a post share. I want to know you as a person, and I want to protect our little group in that sense. So there's a lot of times I'll see a post and I'm like, that doesn't relate, right? And so you can make the connection. I get it. You can make the connection that everything is weight loss related, but I get pretty tight and pretty protective of those of us in this Facebook community because we're sharing some pretty raw emotion. And the things I know about social media is that it's very easy to get distracted. It's very easy for someone to jump in and throw a grenade into your journey. And so I don't want any of that in this community. I don't want you to get distracted. If you jump into the Wise Wingman community, I want you to know that you have people in there, real people with real names, with real journeys, with real lives that you can share with and you can get ideas from. And more importantly, you can inspire and be inspired by. That's the beauty of that community. I've yet to find anything like it on Facebook. I've been to a handful of other Facebook groups that are similar, and sure enough, there's always a post that comes up that has nothing to do with anything, and it causes everyone to just go on this big long rant and tear, right? And before you know it, people are yelling at each other, people are calling each other names. It doesn't help you mentally. That's what I want to build this community with. So yeah, I got some crazy rules in there, and yeah, we end up sometimes deleting some posts because they just don't fit in line. But it's to protect us as people, to get to know who we are as people. So the reason I want to share that with you, April, is I want to be there for you. I want this community to be there for you, and I'm 1,000% confident that given the chance, this community will rally behind you. We'll do whatever we need. We will move heaven and earth to take care of you and to honor you and to walk with you as you celebrate every single milestone you can come up with. April, thanks for sharing your amazing life. Thanks for giving someone else the hope and the power to have an amazing life as well. We all have them. Every single one of us. If you're hearing this right now, you have an amazing life, right? One of my favorite quotes from Andy Andrew, or favorite excerpts from Andy Andrew's book, The Noticer, is somewhere there along the lines of, if we all sat around in a room and you could write down your problems, and you had the opportunity to say, hey, I want to write these down, and what I'm going to do with it after I write it, I'm going to crumple it into a ball, and I'm going to throw it into the middle of this pile, and we're all going to do it. If we could all do that, but you got to grab one out as you leave because you can't leave here scot-free. What would happen is we would open the pile, and we would open up some of the notes, because we couldn't find ours, and we would read it, and we would say, "Whew, yeah, I don't want that," and we would crumple it back up, and we'd put it back in, and then we'd dig for another one. And what would happen? We'd start reading these things that other people are navigating successfully, but they think are a burden, and we would continue to say, "No, I don't want that. I can't handle that. There's no way I can handle that." And we would dig back in that pile, and we would grab our own and take our own problems with us, because we have successfully figured out how to navigate our life. The life we've been given, the hand that we've been dealt. We have figured out how to get there, how to persevere, how to win. Every single one of us has done that. If you're hearing this right now, you have found success in this process, or else you wouldn't still be connected. So you would grab your own trials and tribulations, and you would find out that they're a blessing. They're a blessing to you in your journey, and they're keeping you in the game, winning and being incredibly successful. So April, congratulations on your amazing weight loss. Congratulations on your amazing life. Congratulations on everything you've got going for you. And thank you, thank you, thank you for sharing it. Folks, I always love celebrating with you guys. It's the favorite part, right? There's so much of this thing that isn't fun to celebrate, but there's so many celebrations if we just take the time to look for them. Email in. I want to know, what is it that you're celebrating? Let's share it on the air. Go to fatdag.com, click on the WhysAdvice podcast link, and send in your celebrations. Send in your comments, your questions. I'll make them part of the show. That's what this whole thing is about. I want you to email in the celebrations, and I want you to be proud of what you're doing. Whether you realize it or not, when you take the time to write in, you are an inspiration to somebody else who's looking for inspiration. I can't be all for everyone. I don't have the life experience that collectively we do. I'm not able to talk on certain things I just haven't experienced, but someone in our community has, and they need to hear it from someone who's been there. I'm amplifying your voice. You bring it to me, I push it out, and somebody benefits from your journey, from your success, from your resiliency, from everything you've got going on. Somebody benefits when you take the time to document it and sharing it. Continue to be a part of this community, and thank you so much. That's going to do it for this time. Remember that losing weight and getting healthy has nothing to do with luck. You have to remain disciplined and focused. Set your sights on your goal and go after it. From Jacob editing remotely and Lisa and Heather from the content production team, we wish you good focus. Whoop whoop. Episode 302 in the books. Whew. Jan said, this is an awesome group, and I would never have heard about it had it not been for being a member of WW. Yep. So what I mean by that, what you should do is share. Make sure someone else, bring someone in here. They need to be a part of this, right? Very fun. Let's see. I want to scroll through. 302's in the book, says Donna. Let's see. Very fun. Dina says, I joined and only heard the last email, but oh, wow, how inspiring. Yeah, there's 3 emails in this show. All of them are good. Every single one of you guys who write in, you write good stuff. You know, I laugh, you know, and I think on Twitter the other day, there's an account called Podcast Movement, and they're basically, they're kind of, I don't know if they're the leading authority on, you know, collecting podcasters, but they do conventions. And so I follow them on idea to kind of keep an idea of what's going on in the podcast world so I can make a show a little bit better for you. But honestly, I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway, so I follow them, and they asked the other day, they says, how do you, what was the question? Something like, how do you incorporate your listeners into your show? And I was like, the listeners are the show, right? You know, like there is no show if there's no listeners, because I don't have the life experience. You know, I have a life experience, but collectively we have a much better life experience. So it's always fun when you guys share that. So Kathy says, powerful letters, all strong wingmen. Yeah, that's so fun when you guys share that. So Anna says, awesome show. Debbie says, great show. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's a great show for you guys for writing in. So it's your turn to write in. If you haven't written in yet, it's on air at fatdag.com. You got to get it in. If you've already written in, that's okay. If maybe you could update us if you need to, but you know, that's what makes the show. I joked about this, I don't know, a handful of episodes ago, right? Like literally when the inbox is empty, this show's over. It's that simple. I'm just telling you, when the inbox, when I get to Heather and Lisa and say, hey, where's the episode? They say, well, there's no email, Mike. I'm not going to go make up email to have a show. It's just that simple. So, yeah, Michael says, great journeys by 3 strong people. Yep, persons, completely agree. Yeah, Lee, you've written in 131, 160, 209, 262, 239, 300. Lee has definitely contributed. So somebody besides Lee, right? Go ahead and share your journey. And Lee, I'm not telling you not to, but let's hear from the group, right? Amy says, write them in, please. I want to hear your story, right? Jan says, is the inbox empty? I don't know. That's for you to find out. We'll have to see if there's a show next week or not. I don't know. I mean, really, right? I'm not going to tell you if there's a show next week or not. I'm going to make you figure it out, right? And so next week's not in jeopardy. I'll just tell you that right now. We're okay for next week. But what I'm getting at is if you don't write in, there's no show. That's just how it works. Just how it works. Man, it's fun. It's fun. Tracy says, get to writing, peeps. And Christy says, I was on episode 87. Very fun. So, guys, thanks for being here. Thanks for being a part of this journey with me. 4:54. Man, we're getting late in the afternoon. So, Lee says, there will not be a show next week unless you're ready. That's almost true. There will be one next week. I think we're good for next week. It may be the week after. We don't know. So, anyway, it could be the week after that. That's up to Lisa and Heather. I don't even dig in there anymore. I tell you, the funnest thing about this is I get the opportunity to, I purposefully don't go into the inbox anymore until I get the show ahead of time. I think I said this the other day on the episode, because I get to the point where I want to read. I want the emotion for me to be raw and real as I read it. I don't want to read it and then spend a week thinking about it and then giving you the textbook exam, the answer, right? Because I think we already know the textbook exam, the textbook answer. So I like to read them just before the show so that I can give you true, honest input. Here's what I'm thinking, right? And here's not what I thought about. Here's, and there are some times where I go back after and go, oh, I should have said this, I should have said that. Yeah, well, so much. Anyway, so Venetia says, I'm going to send an email reminder for when I get home tonight to send an email to the show. See, that's how it works. Yep. So Donna says Q&A session. So I always have a Q&A session, right? You can always ask me anything. I try very hard to be everywhere. So, all right. On that note, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a part of this show. Truly an honor to walk this journey with you and to amplify your voice. That's the message I'm going with, is the opportunity to share your story and to share your message with thousands and thousands of people as they are looking for inspiration that's going to come directly from you. Thank you for allowing me to be your voice. Thank you for giving me this microphone and giving me the chance to say, hey, here is what the community thinks and says and is doing. You can do this too. On that note, good to see you. Good to be here. Have a great afternoon. As always, I salute you. I believe in you. And I wish you good focus. That microphone gets in the way when I do that. There we go.